Mark my words, you are about to have the most sickening, egregious, mind-blowing glow up by the end of the summer and into the rest of the year. And it's not just your appearance, it's your confidence, your mindset, your purpose, your sense of alignment, your discipline, all these above that caused you to even click on this video. And that's because by the time you've finished watching this video and you've applied everything that I've shared with you in the checklist, the version of you that's from the end of the year will be completely unrecognizable to the version of you that's watching this video right now. Because after you've watched this video, the version of you from the end of the year will deeply not resonate with who they were when they started the year, because that's how much you're going to change. This is the exact checklist I wish I had instead of spending hours searching through podcasts, websites, blogs, TikToks, whatever it is. All of this is distilled into 10 simple steps. But before we get into this video, there's a quick disclaimer I have to put out. The reason why you may have not reached your goals yet isn't because you aren't capable, it's just because you haven't had the right plan. But that's what you're going to get exactly today. For this mid-year reset, I am walking you through 10 steps to get out of the in-between into the most aligned version of yourself. And that's the one that has the career you want, that goes to the gym, has the health schedule you want, whatever that looks like for you, however that is applicable. This spans across genres, themes, topics, whatever. This plan will help you get to the next step. We're going to cover how to reset your mindset and uncover limiting beliefs, also how to build discipline in a way that actually feels good and in a way that will stick, and also how to finally take up space in your own life, your career, and your relationships in the way that feels the most authentic and makes the most sense for you. If you're watching this, you probably feel like the first half of the year just slipped by. You didn't get to the habits that you wanted to build. You've been watching everyone else level up, maybe hit certain milestones, and been wondering, when is it going to be my turn? But we're going to kick some momentum behind that today. You might feel like you're behind even though you know that you're meant for more, and this video is going to really help you remind you that your time hasn't passed. It's actually just getting started. You just needed the right game plan. But if this is the first time that you are stumbling across Make Up Your Mind, hi, I'm Jolene, and I have helped tens of thousands of people who are stuck in that in-between and who are maybe in a job that they really don't like, in a situation that they don't like, aren't disciplined, are trying to figure out their passions. Whatever it might be, I've helped people have the tools to be able to get to where they actually want to go and do so confidently and actually make it stick. I've done this for years in corporate settings and as an entrepreneur and everything in between. So I'm really excited to take you on this ride, and let's get into it. You're listening to Make Up Your Mind. Here we help you figure out your passion, release the mindset blocks keeping you stuck, and take real action. But first, take about 2 seconds to subscribe to the show and leave me a really good review so you can keep getting more episodes. Get ready to finally make up your mind. Let's get started. The first step of the checklist is probably one of the most important, because if you're watching this video, you are most likely someone who is incredibly ambitious and someone who is used to having accolades, awards, maybe knowing what they want and being praised for by other people. Or maybe you just haven't resonated with that yet, but you just feel like you're in a period of stuckness. And I think one of the biggest things to do is first forgive yourself for landing in this period. No one's perfect, and at no point in our life are we always on the path that we want to be down, but that doesn't mean you have to stay on that path. It is okay to recognize where you're at and get back on the bike, pedal back to where you were, and then restart down a new path. So first step is 100% self-forgiveness. In the context of the year, we've made it halfway through 2025, and what a year it has been. Congratulate yourself for even making it through the halfway point and still getting up to at this point to be like, okay, I want to change things. Let's see how we can switch things up so that we can come back in the second half. Any feelings of guilt, shame, and disappointment can be replaced with self-compassion and also renewal, because those emotions are incredibly unproductive. Those emotions fester, and I don't know if you've ever tried to motivate yourself from a place of guilt or shame, but it is the most draining thing. You're going to find yourself accomplishing your goals and not even feeling happy about them, or not even feeling like you should pat yourself on the back because it's what you felt like you should have done anyway. But we're going to get rid of that, get rid of the guilt and the shame, take a moment, take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then now we can move on to step number 2 now that that's gone. If you're not new to the channel, I don't think this came as a surprise to you, but the second step is to rewire your beliefs. Your mind is split into 2 parts, your conscious and your subconscious. And your subconscious is about 95% of your brain, with your conscious being about 5%. And think about it as an iceberg. That 95% of the iceberg is under the water and the 5% is at the top. The 5% is what you know. It's your conscious mind. It's what you see, and it's what you are using to actively make decisions every day. But your subconscious is what's under that layer. It's the motivations, your identity, your belief system, everything that makes you you, and the limiting beliefs that are hidden behind there that cause you to make the decisions that you make every day. So let's say you want to go to the gym and you've had a plan to go to the gym every single day for a week. First day, great. Second day, a little bit harder. Third day, you forget to go. Fourth day, you forget to go again. Fifth day, you forget that was even a goal. The reason why you aren't able to stay consistent sometimes is because of the beliefs in your subconscious mind. It is so important to work with these beliefs so that way the entirety of your mind is propelling you towards a specific goal. In your subconscious mind, you have a ton of beliefs, and they're primarily formed between the ages of 0 and 7. So let's say between those ages, you had some traumatic experience around working out and why it is not safe for you to do so. And safe means familiar to your subconscious mind, not necessarily safe in the physical sense of the word. So let's say you figured out that it's not safe for you to work out because someone might make fun of you, you might get hurt, whatever it might be. You are never going to actively be pushing yourself to work out or have it come to a place where it is natural for you to be working out every single day of the week. I 100% recommend going through my 30-day reset downloadable, which I'll include in the caption, that walks you through how to uncover limiting beliefs and how to rewire them, and also gives you a process for doing so. So let's say though we do uncover that maybe like when you were 6 years old, you got hurt on a playground and it was a traumatic injury, so you never want to work out really. And it really bruised your relationship to exercise. This is something we need to heal. There are many ways to do so. You can do it through affirmations. I love EFT tapping. I love visualizations. Whatever it is, there are so many ways to work with your brain and work with your nervous system to allow ease in your body when it comes to doing the things that you consciously want to do. Instead of feeling stuck when it comes to working out, or stuck when it comes to achieving any kind of goal, stuck when it comes to achieving a career goal that you might have, or even a dating goal, whatever it might be, you're going to go from feeling unworthy and stuck to feeling like there's possibility and a sense of belief. It's going to really open up your world to you. I promise you, EFT tapping has probably been the biggest game changer to my own personal and professional development journey, because what I personally believe is you can't get to the dream career that you want or anything without being personally okay with yourself. Have you ever seen someone go through the most sickening glow up in their life and then not have it start from their mental? Like, that does not happen. So that's why number 2, which is so important, is to rewire your brain. If you have these negative beliefs about yourself or things tied around what it takes for you to get to where you want to go, your brain, the number one thing it won't do in a rule of the subconscious is your brain won't make you a liar. It wants to make all your limiting beliefs true. So you will receive a confirmation bias from so many different areas, forcing you to believe that, oh, this belief that I have about myself is already true. Oh, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to land a job. Look at all these rejections that I see around me. But if you open yourself up to the possibility, you're going to start to see things change. One hack that I love to do in this instance is to ask myself why. Instead of saying, I'm never able to do this, I'll say, why am I able to blank, which is the inverse, so easily. If I wanted to find more money making opportunities to grow my business, let's say, for example, I could say something like, why do I see opportunities everywhere around me? Instead of saying I see opportunities everywhere around me, my subconscious doesn't have the chance to interject and say, no, that's a lie, because my truth is X, Y, and Z. Now that we've rewired our limiting beliefs, the next step is to get crystal clear on where we are going. Let me ask you, how many times have you gone to travel out of town and not put directions into Google Maps? Or Waze or Apple Maps or whatever you use? You've literally never done that because it truly does not make any sense. But that's the same thing when it comes to our goals. Like, how are you going to actually get to where you want to go if you don't have any sense of direction, if you don't have a clear understanding of it? And the reason that I put this at step number 3 is because it's so important to make sure that number 2 is all settled. So you have a clear understanding of what your limiting beliefs are. Your subconscious mind will try to hide keys from you. It'll try to hide clues from where you actually want to go, and it'll try to prevent you from seeing the whole vision. And that's why sometimes the vision isn't completely clear, or maybe you see who you are at the very end, but the steps to get there, it's not clear at all. So working with your subconscious mind in step number 2 will help you get through step number 3. Get really clear about those limiting beliefs. Once you heal them, all the steps will start to unfold, and you'll also start to see opportunities pop up around you to help you get to where you want to go. Vague dreams lead to vague results. Tell me exactly where you're going, and not just that, write 3 clear and emotionally connected goals. Drive an emotion up that will literally be the reason why you wake up out of bed every single day, working towards these goals, working to work out, working to get the promotion, working to, make new friends in a new city, or just to have your dream career and make your dreams come true, post more content, whatever it is. What are emotionally connected reasons for you to be able to go after this dream? Maybe it's the money that you get will help you, afford tuition, or maybe it's you'll finally feel a certain type of way. Like, really get to the root of that, and that downloadable worksheet that I mentioned earlier will help you do that. You want to make sure that with all these statements, you are saying, I want to feel versus I want to have. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to a feeling. We only want things because of the feelings we think that it will give us once we have it. So once you say, I want to feel, and it's emotionally connected, you're already on the right path and ready to move on to step number 4. In this step, we have moved from the overwhelm of having a bunch of intangible ideas to clarity and direction. Step 4 is to find an accountability partner. I cannot tell you how difficult it is for you to seek a change and to be doing it alone. Like, scientifically, it's proven that you are more likely to fail if you are doing it alone, or you don't have some sort of accountability pushing you to go after your goals or encouraging you with some kind of positive or negative reinforcement. You can call up a friend, you can send a DM, you can join a local group. Like, there are Facebook groups for literally everything. There really isn't an excuse to not have some sort of accountability when it comes to this, because there are so many people who are probably trying to reach the same goals as you. You are never meant to do this alone. I love the idea of destiny helpers, because at the end of the day, my belief is that we all have specific purposes we're supposed to live out, and God, the universe, whatever, will send people on your path who are meant to help you in this way. So maybe that's one of the people you can hit up in DM. If someone's coming to mind as you're thinking about this or as you're listening to me, hit them up right now and say, hey, I have a goal I'd like to reach. This is how I'm going to do it. Can you please help me keep me accountable? If someone is not coming to mind, there are so many resources through coaching, spaces, community centers, all of that stuff that you can also dive into. We are moving completely from feeling isolated to being seen and supported by people around us. This helps enforce it back to our subconscious and previous limiting beliefs that it is normal for you to go after these goals. It is normal for you to be this new version of yourself, and the one that's going to be at the end of the year completely unrecognizable to who you were when you started. And that leads us into step 5, when you're curating an environment that supports the person that you are becoming. Imagine being a flower or a dandelion growing in a cave. Doesn't that make little to no sense? That literally makes no sense. In the same way, imagine trying to grow in a place that's not meant for you. There's no fertile ground, there's no soil, and that dandelion in a cave is probably going to die because there's nothing else around there. It's like, how did it even get there? Same for you. You can't grow in soil that killed the old version of you, just like you can't grow in environments that produce the version of you that you currently are right now. So finding new environments, curating your spaces so that this new version of you that you are ushering or rebirthing, or just the one that's coming out of hiding, coming out of that isolation, coming out of that metaphorical winter, it has the chance to survive. You have to give yourself the chance to thrive instead of just killing your chances before they really even started. Some examples of how this could look like is auditing your media, your spaces, and the friends around you. Like, for example, you don't want to hang out with people who are forcing you or encourage you to self-sabotage. And this is moving from misalignment to empowerment and integrity. And once we have this settled, we can now dress and move like them. What is your vision of this person? Do they wear the same clothes that you currently have in your closet, or do they wear something completely different? Do they eat a certain way? Like what are their habits, and what does the actual physical embodiment look like? I personally went through a transformation earlier this year, and I got rid of, probably, I'm not even joking, half of my wardrobe. That t-shirt you still have from your high school 5K that you ran that one summer, you don't need it. I'm sorry, I don't think the person who you're becoming wears that t-shirt a lot unless it has some deep sentimental value. I'm sure it's okay to give it up. Like, let's clear out the old energy and usher in the new. Go shopping. If you can afford it, go shopping, buy some new pieces that make you feel really elevated and a lot more aligned to that ideal person. You can also upgrade little things like your posture, your makeup routine, how you show up online. The thing is that once you start changing one thing, you'll see it reverberate in the energy all around you. So these are all things that can change. And this is moving from insecurity to confidence and full-on self-respect. leading us to step 7, building one anchor routine. Now, this is something that you do every single day that will lead you towards a specific goal. Let's say you want to be a content creator. You're going to post every single day, right? Maybe that's your goal. Let's say that you want to gear yourself up for promotion. Maybe that means, every day taking account of your tasks and hitting certain KPIs. Maybe you want to learn a new language. That means you're tapping into Duolingo every single day and you have your streak going. Discipline isn't a punishment. Discipline is the highest form of self-love because it's you parenting your inner child and saying, you matter, and because you matter, I'm going to do these things that help us get to where we want to go. So that can also mean structuring a really solid morning or night care routine, solidifying a really strong meditation or journaling practice that will help you have the right mindset when you go into these big meetings or when you go to speak to other people, right? It's the things that you know you have to do that you haven't just quite implemented yet that will be the tipping point. It will make you go completely off the edge in a good way. The key here is to keep it simple, keep it grounded, and keep it doable. You don't want to set lofty goals and set yourself up to fail. When you are in the beginning stages of this metamorphosis, you never want to bite off more than you can chew. And this is moving from the chaos you might have been feeling to a grounded and more stable sense of self. This leads into number 8, which is taking micro actions daily. You cannot get to the big stuff without handling the small stuff. And that small stuff is what leads to momentum. It's like one thing on Monday compounds to on Tuesday, compounds on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. You won't even really see the growth that you're having day by day, but over time, it is going to be exponential. 15 minutes a day towards your pivot, towards your portfolio, towards your resume, towards whatever it is. Like I said, it compounds over time. That's like James Clear's whole thing, like tiny habits. And that moves us from this stagnant energy to real momentum and pride, and also the confidence that we can show up and we can do the things that we said we are going to do, even if it feels difficult, even if it feels hard and it feels out of alignment, because eventually, as this all integrates, it'll be more aligned with us than that past version was. Step 9 is a hyper emphasis on your circle and changing your circle if need be. This could look gentle, this can look bold, this could look like moving to a new state if that's something you've been looking to do, or just changing friend groups. Whatever it is, this new version of yourself deserves people around them that want to support their goals. And this new version already has a set group of people that love and support you. I can personally tell you that one of the biggest hindrances to my career has been a community that didn't support me in the past, or a community that just didn't really pour into me in the way that I poured into them. So it felt incredibly draining, and I felt like I was constantly giving from an empty cup. Like, let's say if it was at 100%, if I was giving 80 and they're giving 20, there's an energetic imbalance there. Like, what kind of reciprocal relationship are you receiving? Like, no, that's an energy vampire, which is something that we talked about in this episode. Listening to my failed mentor story, I would definitely recommend you go listen to that. But you want to make sure that all your relationships are reciprocal and that they are pouring back into you too. Identify those relationships that are draining your energy, because it's draining your growth as well. And when it's lopsided like that, it's really hard to move forward. So seek and build community with people who have similar values, who have similar goals. And then you're able to go from loneliness and inauthenticity to connection and belonging. And the final step, the last step, number 10 of this checklist, is to not quit in the middle. I cannot tell you how many people quit from point A to C. So a lot of people quit when they're halfway to B, right? They quit when they're between B and C, but it's the ones who keep going that get to C are the ones that reap the harvest. When you plant a seed is not going to sprout the next day. A seed sprouts over a long period of time. And so depending on what that looks like for you in your transformation, you can't not give yourself the chance to succeed. You owe it to yourself to keep going. The glow up doesn't happen overnight, but it sure as hell won't happen if you stop before you get there. The only way to guarantee it is if you keep going, or that's the way you give yourself your best chance. One way to do this is to write down weekly, how am I closer now than where I was last week? And then also just make sure that you, in your journaling practices, you are anchoring it back to your why. And from here, we are moving from doubt to inner resilience. Okay, and so this isn't just a reset for, the next 6 months. This is a reset for the rest of your life. This is the foundation. And I know that if you follow the tips that I've given you in this video, it will be the biggest game changer, because that's what happened to me. I think it all comes down to a decision being like, yeah, is enough enough? And at this point, if you've listened through this whole thing, I think that you're ready to make that decision too. Don't forget to download the 30-day reset, which is also in the description. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back next week with a very special video all about balancing your corporate job with your side hustles. I have Jeannie Thompson from HubSpot. It is going to be a great episode that I know you'll love to hear. So I will chat with you later, and thank you for listening. Bye.